What's going on, guys? So I wanted to make a video giving you an update on our John Deere mini excavator. This is a 50G. It's kind of on the larger side of your compact mini excavators, but it's certainly one that I know a lot of folks are probably considering if you have land and you're looking for a tool that you could use for more than one application. And this is definitely one of those tools. Let's talk about it. Hang tight. I'll be right back. So we purchased this John Deere 50G in 2021, brand new, from the local John Deere construction dealership. And we got this specific one because I wanted one that would have the strength, the reach, and the depth to do multiple different projects. What's kind of interesting is when we first got this, kind of the goal was to do a lot of plumbing around the property, be able to trench lines underground, work on the pond, be able to possibly add new ponds, add some creeks, and do a lot of dirt work. Basically what excavators are designed to do, right? Excavate and move dirt. But the longer we've had this, the more this has turned into kind of like a Swiss Army knife of tools. It still has the same downfalls as it has had from the very beginning. And those things are definitely worth considering if you're going to get a tracked vehicle, or I guess even a wheeled vehicle. And the real downfall of a machine, I don't even know if it really matters if it's this size or not, but just a tracked machine is that moving it around is very likely to tear up whatever ground you have underneath it, unless it's pavement. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean just the process of moving it around this area tears up the ground. It tears up the grass, it destroys the grass, and pretty much is going to damage wherever you move it, unless you're simply rolling it straight on or straight back. If you have to rotate the tracks at all, they're going to dig in the ground. Even if you use some pretty cool movement techniques like we do, where we push the shovel down and we rotate the cab on the tracks, it still is going to tear up part of your yard if you plan on using something like this over grass or over an area that might be manicured to some degree. The other downside to this is something that if you have a skid steer, you probably don't experience. A skid steer has some great maneuverability. It's super fast, and when you're using the joystick to control the direction and the speed, it feels very nimble, even though you may be tearing up the ground underneath the tracks in the process of doing it. But with this, it's very slow. I mean, it is incredibly slow. I think the fastest speed, whenever you put this thing on high and you take it off eco and you put everything at its highest level, is a little bit faster than walking speed. So don't expect to get anywhere too quickly in this. Also understand that if you are going over any angles or inclines, it's going to have a very kind of jarring effect on you in the cab and the tractor itself. And what I mean by that is if you are going up an incline like this that levels off, or even loading it onto the back of a trailer, if you have a breakover that you have to worry about, this is going to go up and then it's just going to slam down. You might be able to get it to rock slowly. You may be able to use the shovel, the boom, and the stick to get it kind of as a smoother transition. But for the most part, everything here, there's no suspension built in here. The only suspension you might have per se is the tracks flexing slightly, but there's no springs, there's no shock absorbers, there's nothing in there to really absorb any type of harshness whenever you're going over different grounds. So even small things in the ground, small ditches, small ruts, can be pretty jarring on you on the inside and can kind of throw you around. So wearing your seatbelt becomes kind of more of a common practice in something like this once you realize that if I'm loading something up, or shoot, even if I'm pushing something down and I lift up on the boom too quickly, it is going to feel very, very jarring and it can kind of throw you around. So I would definitely be careful. I think most people who end up dying in one of these, it's because they don't wear their seatbelt and they do something that they don't anticipate is going to cause the machine to roll or to tip in a certain way, and it throws them out. So I would definitely recommend wearing your safety belt if you are going to get a machine like this, even if you typically don't. Like on my tractor, I typically don't wear my safety belt. But on something like this, it's definitely something that I'm trying to do more often, especially if I'm going to be working around any type of an edge where the tractor could tip over or tip forward and have that jarring effect, because it almost feels like it's going to throw you out of the seat sometimes. That said, I don't really have a lot of negative things to say about this. I made a video a while back kind of talking about regrets, and this was a long time ago, but I talked about should I have gotten a different machine that perhaps had more horsepower, and what I realized is a lot of those machines tend to be like turbocharged engines that are smaller but produce more power. And most of the people who left comments about this said, no, you got the right machine. This is the right one. It's a super reliable machine. One of the reasons why you see so many construction companies and cities and municipalities getting this machine is because it does a great job and it's super reliable. And we've had no issues with it at all from a mechanical perspective. We have just over 100 hours on it, which for a residential property setting, I think is actually a good amount of time. We don't use this every single day. And the flexibility of this machine has definitely shown itself. And let me talk about that. So, of course, most people know that buckets are what you see on the front of excavators for the most part. I have this bucket. I have this bucket. So the other bucket's a 36-inch wide bucket. This is a 12-inch wide bucket. So this is definitely my smaller digging bucket. And this is a beast of a bucket. And the thing that I realized very quickly with buckets in general and excavators is that just because it's a certain width, it doesn't mean that's what it's going to tear out. It'll tear out probably a lot more than that. So you have to be real careful in terms of bucket sizes and exactly how wide you need to go. We added a hook on the back here that was really cool, and it's come in really handy because it gives us the ability to use this as kind of like a crane and to lift heavy things up, which we've done multiple times with this bucket. But this is probably my most often used bucket with the excavator. And then I have another bucket that was actually made by a friend of mine. So this bucket right here is a homemade bucket. A buddy of mine who you've seen on the channel multiple times made this for me. I drew him the specs and the dimensions and what I was looking for. I wanted a bucket that was a total of 4 inches wide. So that's what this one gives me. It has a digging width of 4 inches, in other words, and was 16 inches deep. Actually 18 inches, I'm sorry, from here to there. And I use this to put plumbing underground. Basically anything from the well that I need to get out somewhere. I hook this up. I bought the quick attachment portion right here off of eBay or Amazon, I can't remember. But he built this super robust bucket, and this thing is super cool. And when I sharpen the front up there, it is absolutely a root killer. I mean, this thing can cut through roots like you wouldn't even imagine. But this bucket has been absolutely awesome. And again, we use this whenever we're doing some type of plumbing work and we need to just make a small trench, or if we're having to run electrical wiring underground and we need just a really small trench. Again, though, when you start digging with something like this, as you tear up the ground, you will tear up a much wider area than what the bucket width is. But then we have one other attachment for it, which probably is used the most often, and it's the reason why it makes the excavator probably the most versatile tool we have. And that is this. So this is also kind of a semi-homemade product. I purchased this whole debris attachment. This is actually designed to attach to the front of a bucket of a tractor, so you can lift debris, branches, stuff like that up and move it over to a dumpster, a dump trailer, or into a pile. And I had my friend attach another quick release bracket right here for the excavator. Why would we do that? Well, because now I have the flexibility of using the excavator as a very agile and flexible forklift. So these forks stick off the front 2 feet, so I don't have a heck of a lot of distance there, but I made a pallet that actually slides onto the end of it that gives me over 3 feet of fork space. And with all the air conditioning units that we've replaced on RVs, this certainly has been the most useful in terms of acting as a forklift. We've had the ability to load the new unit on here, then get it up high, unload it, load the old unit back on. I've had the ability to move things around with this. I can move large bags, large objects, logs, things like that. And it's just a great lifting platform, and it gives me so much versatility, as well as using it as a debris fork. So if I need to reach over something to load stuff up, I have the flexibility with this as well. But this right here, plus the small buckets and the other buckets we have, are really the reason why the mini excavator is such a versatile tool, and one that we have grown to absolutely love around the property. You know, when everything's said and done, this has been an absolutely phenomenal excavator. We've had no issues with it. You know, if you're going to buy one of these, when we got this one, it was about $75,000. I don't know if they've gone up in price or if they've come down in price, but getting one with a cab with air conditioning definitely has come in handy. There's been a few times where I've jostled stuff that were loaded with wasps and bees, and being inside of the cab definitely helps. Having air conditioning inside of there when it's 100+ degrees outside certainly helps as well. And having the front shovel is absolutely been awesome. That blade and the ability to rotate it has come in handy so many times as well, making this a really phenomenal bulldozer whenever you're moving dirt or sand or whatever out and you need to push it all back in. This gives you a flexible platform to do that. But overall, this thing has been rock solid. We've had absolutely no problem. I've been doing all the maintenance as it needs to happen. I try to keep it clean and functional, and yeah, it's even helped us move bags like this for some of the trailer weight testing that we've been doing. But let me know what your thoughts are. If you own a mini excavator, which brand do you own? How's it been functioning for you? Has it done what you need it to do? And have you found other uses for it? That's probably the big story here, is all the other uses we found for this on our property. Anyways, just wanted to give you a quick update on it. Totally worth having for us. We use it all the time, especially when it comes to lifting heavy objects up high. That's been the secret sauce behind this, and I've absolutely grown to love this piece of equipment, and I don't think life would be the same without it. It's just crazy how much this thing has helped me. Anyways, guys, sure hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.